everybody, welcome back to Happy Bake Day, where every day is a happy bake day. I hope you had a fabulous Thanksgiving holiday yesterday. If you missed our episode from last week when we made our spicy chocolate bourbon pecan pie, you can check it out right here. Today we are going to be making a shepherd's pie, also known as cottage pie, and yes, it will have that delicious mashed potato topping. The ingredients we're going to need for our shepherd's pie today are 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 cup of chopped onion, half a pound of ground beef, half a pound of ground lamb, 2 teaspoons dried parsley, 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 3 garlic cloves minced, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 cup of bone broth, half a cup of peas, half a cup of carrots, half a cup of corn kernels, and some salt and pepper to taste. Now the recipe today is going to be made in 2 parts. The first part is going to be making our beef and vegetable filling, which we'll have to move over to the stove for. And then the second part is going to be making that delicious mashed potato topping, and then it'll be ready for baking. But first, let's head over to the stove. I have pulled out here a large skillet, and I have 2 rubber spatulas. Our first step is to add our olive oil and let that heat up. Once the olive oil has heated up, what we're going to do is add our chopped onion and stir them in the olive oil until they get nice and soft. Then we will start adding the rest of our ingredients. Our beef filling mixture is done, so I turned off my heat and I'm going to take it off my stove to let it start to cool down. Our next step is to preheat our oven to 400 degrees. Our oven is preheating and our meat and vegetable filling is off to the side cooling down. The next step is to make that delicious cheesy mashed potato topping that we all know and love with shepherd's pie. You're going to need the following ingredients for that part. 2 pounds of russet potatoes, half a cup of unsalted butter, half a cup of sour cream, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and 3/4 cup of Parmesan cheese shredded. What we're going to do is add our potatoes to a large pot of water. Feel free to salt the water if you like, you don't have to. And you're going to boil the potatoes for about 15 minutes, maybe even 10, and you're going to boil them until they're nice and soft. I like to take a fork and prick my potatoes just to make sure that they're ready. If your fork goes in nice and smooth, that means your potatoes are done. If it's a little bit hard to get the tines through, then that means your potatoes need a few more minutes. Once your potatoes are cooked and soft, go ahead and drain out all of the water and put your potatoes back in the large pot. Our potatoes are hot off the stove. I think you can tell by the steam. And our next step is to take our potato masher and mash these up the best that we can. You want to try to get out all of the lumps and the clumps. Then we're going to take our electric hand mixer and add in our ingredients with the exception of the Parmesan cheese. You're going to add that at the very end. And what you're going to do with the cheese is stir it in with a silicone spatula. That way you make sure it doesn't get broken up with the electric hand mixer. The next step is to assemble our shepherd's pie. I have brought out a large baking dish what we're going to do is add our beef and vegetable mixture here to the bottom of our dish. Then I'm going to pipe the mashed potatoes on top. I don't have a large enough piping bag, so I just took a large zip top bag here and made a large cut on the corner. So I will transfer my mashed potatoes into my zip top bag and then pipe across the top. You don't have to do that. You can just evenly spread your potatoes or use a spoon and dollop them on, whatever you'd like. I think piping them on makes them look a little bit prettier and get maybe a little bit browner. But again, that's completely optional, whatever you want to do. But like I said, you're gonna do meat mixture first, potatoes on top, then we're ready to bake. The piping didn't turn out as beautiful as I thought. Actually, my husband said it kind of looks like little marshmallow peeps. I'll take it. Our last step here is to bake our shepherd's pie. Our oven has finished preheating to 400 degrees, and you're going to bake it uncovered for 25 to 30 minutes until you see your filling start to get bubbly and your potatoes start to turn a nice golden brown. Then you can take it out, let it cool for a few minutes, and it'll be ready to eat. Our shepherd's pie is out of the oven and it smells like cheesy, garlicky goodness. Even though my mashed potatoes weren't the prettiest after I piped them, they still browned a little bit at the peaks and it's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today while we made our delicious shepherd's pie. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you had fun with me today. I appreciate each and every single subscriber as you join me on this journey from baker to baker. You can also follow us on social media or on our website for this and all of our other fun recipes. Until next time, I hope you have a very happy bake day.